I met Jesus in a dream, and what he said about my future changed everything. Those words aren't a title. They're a testimony, and they belong to me. But, beloved, they might also belong to you. Because the moment Jesus appears in a dream, everything ordinary becomes eternal. It wasn't just sleep, it was a summons, a meeting that was scheduled by heaven. And when I opened my eyes within that dream, I found myself standing in a place beyond time, face to face with the one who had never left my side. Even in silence, precious soul, I know what it feels like to wait. To carry questions into the night, praying for clarity, begging for direction. You've wondered if God still speaks. You've looked at your future and asked, is there really something more for me? And that's why this message matters. Because what he said to me was never meant to stay with me. He spoke of calling, he whispered about seasons. He named things I had buried, and when he spoke about the future, it didn't sound like pressure, it sounded like promise. Like an invitation to walk forward without fear, because he had already gone ahead of me. And now, dear brother, sweet sister, I need you to lean in. Because this isn't just a story. It's a door, a moment of divine alignment. And if you stay, fully, attentively, expectantly, you will hear the very words that shifted my destiny. You are about to discover what Jesus said to me in that dream, and how it could change everything about the way you see your own future. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Leave a comment below with your city or country. And if you believe you're ready to receive God's blessings, drop the number 7 in the comments, symbolizing prosperity and blessings. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could also be blessed. Let's map together where the fire of the Spirit is reaching and bringing prosperity. Beloved, have you ever closed your eyes so weary that it felt like you might never wake up? That night was like that. I didn't pray with eloquence. I didn't feel holy or strong. I simply collapsed, tired of waiting, tired of wondering, tired of asking God when or if. And in the silence, heaven answered. Not with thunder, not with visions of angels, but with Jesus. In the stillness of night, he came. Not in a flash, but in a way so subtle it made me question if I was dreaming. Until I realized, this wasn't a dream, this was a visitation. And you, dear brother, precious sister, you felt it too. That moment when sleep turns to something deeper, when your spirit lifts beyond your body and the atmosphere changes, it's the moment where eternity leans in. When I found myself standing in that place, it wasn't familiar. But I wasn't afraid. The weight of his presence silenced every fear. I didn't see streets of gold. I didn't hear choirs. I saw him. He stood there waiting, not rushed, not distant, but as if he had been longing for me to arrive. And even though no words had been spoken yet, I already knew this moment would change everything. Heaven was no longer distant. It had entered my reality. And what Jesus was about to reveal, about life, calling, and future, would shake me from the inside out. You're not far from that same moment, because if he met me there, he can meet you too, dear heart. The place wasn't familiar, but it felt like home. I was standing in a realm that had no walls, yet felt covered. There was no sun, but everything glowed. The light didn't just shine, it lived. And the atmosphere, oh, the atmosphere, peace thick like oil, clung to everything. You didn't just breathe it, you became part of it, but none of it compared to his presence. When Jesus appeared, I didn't need an introduction. My soul knew him. His eyes, oh, his eyes, they didn't just look at me. They looked through me. There was no hiding. No mask, no pretending, and yet, instead of fear, I felt a love so holy it made me weep. You, beloved, know that kind of love, the kind that doesn't have to speak to be heard, the kind that fills every silent ache. He didn't shout, he didn't rush, he just Was, fully, completely, and I knew I was in the presence of the one who had been with me all along, even when I couldn't see him. He didn't speak at first. But he didn't have to. His presence was saying everything. I've been waiting for you. I've seen your struggle. I know the questions you're afraid to ask, and in that moment, you don't think about the pain anymore. You don't worry about the future. Because you realize the one who holds tomorrow is standing right in front of you. Oh, my friend. If you're longing for clarity, don't chase answers. Chase him, because the moment his presence fills your life, everything else becomes clear. And in that place, I knew something sacred had begun. Something I could never unsee, never forget, and it all started in his presence. Precious soul, there's something sacred about hearing your name, not from the world, not from your past, but from the mouth of the one who formed you. When Jesus said my name, it wasn't loud, but it thundered through me. It wasn't dramatic, but it ended me. Because, beloved, he didn't say my name like others have. He didn't call me by my failure, my fear, or my shame. He called me by the name he gave me, the name heaven knows. And when he did, I felt every wall inside me crumble. Years of insecurity, confusion, and guilt melted in one moment of holy recognition. I didn't just hear his voice, I felt it. It wrapped around my spirit like fire and water at the same time. You know what I mean, don't you? That ache to be seen, truly seen, and not turned away. That hunger to know your life matters, not because of your performance, but because of who you are to him. Jesus didn't start with a sermon. He started with intimacy. He started by naming me, knowing me, claiming me. And, dear heart, he wants to do the same with you. Because the same Jesus who spoke my name in that sacred place, he's whispering yours even now. Not the name the world gave you, not the one shaped by pain or rejection, but the one that carries your purpose, and when you hear it, when you really hear it, everything shifts. Fear begins to leave, identity starts to rise. And suddenly, the future doesn't feel so heavy. Because the one who speaks your name is the same one who holds your destiny. And that, my friend, is where the true journey begins. Dear brother, precious sister, there are wounds you've stopped talking about. Pains you buried so deeply, even your prayers stopped mentioning them. You smile in public, but your soul limps in silence. And yet, in that place of divine encounter, I learned something sacred. Jesus doesn't walk past your pain. He walks right into it. He didn't point at my strength. He didn't praise my endurance. He looked directly at my weakness. And not with shame, but with a love that exposed without condemning. In his presence, there's no hiding, but also no fear. I saw him kneel. Yes, the King of Glory knelt before the parts of me I thought were too broken to fix. His hand reached toward a place in me that I had covered for years. And when he touched it, I didn't feel pain, I felt healing. You see, he doesn't ignore your scars, he carries his own. Isaiah 53:5 says, by his wounds we are healed. He touched my past not to remind me of it, but to redeem it. He didn't ask me to pretend I was okay. He invited me to let him make it holy. That moment taught me that Jesus doesn't just want your praise, he wants your pain. The parts you think disqualify you are the very places he wants to anoint. You are not too broken, you are not too far. And the same Jesus who healed me in that dream is reaching for you now, saying, let me touch what you've been hiding. Because the healing you've longed for begins with surrender. Beloved, what if I told you that you've never truly seen yourself? Not the version in the mirror, not the one shaped by opinions or comparison. I'm talking about the you that heaven sees. Because in that dream, standing in his presence, Jesus showed me something I wasn't prepared for, my true identity. Not my title, not my past, not my struggle, but the reflection of who I was created to be before pain, sin, or fear ever had a voice. He didn't use a mirror made of glass, no. He held up something greater, a vision, a glimpse of my future, a taste of my calling. And when I looked, I wept because for the first time, I saw myself through his eyes. Not weak, but chosen, not lost, but called, not invisible, but deeply known. Dear heart, do you know how God sees you? Do you know that before the foundation of the world, He formed you with a purpose that hell itself cannot cancel? Ephesians 2:10 says, "You are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand." That means your future isn't random. It's divine, and in that dream, He showed me glimpses, pieces of what He's planned for me, and I believe it wasn't just for me, but for you too. Because when you begin to see yourself the way He does, everything changes. You stop settling for survival, you start walking in destiny. He showed me what I was carrying and what I was meant to release. He reminded me that identity isn't earned, it's received. And beloved, if you've forgotten who you are, let this be your reminder. You are His, and the vision He has for your life is far greater than the one this world has tried to convince you of. This was the moment, beloved. The silence broke. His eyes met mine, and Jesus spoke. Not with riddles, not with mystery, but with clarity that shattered every doubt I had carried. His voice didn't echo. It settled deep inside me, like truth that had always been there but needed to be awakened. And here's what He said: your future is not something to fear, it is something I've already walked through. You will not be defined by your failure, you will be led by my promise. I stood there stunned, tears flowing freely, as He continued, what's ahead of you is not punishment, it is preparation. What has felt like delay has been design. I've been building you, shaping you, protecting you from stepping into things too soon. But now, it's time, beloved, do you hear the Spirit whispering to your soul even now? It's time, He went on, the doors I open no man can shut. And the ones I've kept closed you'll one day thank me for. Isaiah 20:22 speaks of this kind of authority. I will place on His shoulder the key to the house of David. What He opens no one can shut. Jesus was telling me, and He's telling you, that the future you've feared is actually full of favor. The silence you've questioned was heaven working in the background. The pain you endured wasn't wasted, it was prophetic preparation, and now, heaven is shifting. You are stepping into alignment, not by your might, but by His mercy. The future is not unknown to Him, He's already there. And if He's already in your tomorrow, beloved, what do you have to fear? When my eyes opened, the world hadn't changed, but I had. My body was still in bed, the room still quiet, but the air around me felt charged. Something holy had followed me back. I sat up slowly, tears still drying on my face, and I knew that was no dream. That was a visitation, a divine encounter that branded my spirit. And, beloved, I couldn't go back to normal. The hunger in me had multiplied, the confusion was gone, and in its place was a quiet confidence, a still, burning fire. You know that feeling when something eternal touches your present. That sense that what just happened will echo through the rest of your life. That's what I carried, and I believe you're meant to carry it too. Because when Jesus truly visits you, whether in dream, word, or presence, you never leave the same. Everything looks different when you've seen His face. The fear that once held you back, it no longer fits. The doubts that used to torment you, they sound like static now. Because once you've heard the voice of the one who writes your future, all the noise of this world fades. Dear one, don't dismiss the things God shows you in the night. Scripture says He speaks through dreams, Job 33:15-16, not to entertain, but to instruct, to awaken, to shift destines. When I woke up, I didn't just carry a memory, I carried a mission. And I believe, so do you. It didn't take long for things to start moving. After that dream, that encounter, it was as if heaven had turned a key. Conversations began to shift, opportunities I had prayed for months ago suddenly surfaced. What was stuck began to move, and not because I had forced it, but because something in the Spirit had aligned. Dear one, I need you to understand. When God speaks into your future, it's not just inspiration, it's activation. Things begin to respond. Atmospheres adjust, people begin to notice something different in you. Not because you're striving harder, but because His word doesn't return void. Isaiah 55:11. I watched as things I had once begged for began to find me. But this wasn't luck, it was obedience, it was surrender. It was the fruit of that one moment in His presence. I walked differently, prayed with more clarity, worshipped with deeper fire, and doors, they opened. Not all at once, but enough to remind me He was serious about my future. And beloved, He's serious about yours too. This dream, this message, this word, it isn't random. It's a divine signal. You're stepping into a season of movement. Don't panic when things begin to shift. Don't doubt when doors open quickly. It's not always the enemy trying to distract. Sometimes it's the Lord trying to accelerate. And after that encounter, I realized something else. He didn't just want to change how I saw my future, He wanted to show me that the future had already begun. Now, dear heart, I need you to lean in. Because this dream, it wasn't just for me. Yes, Jesus came to speak to my soul, but what He released wasn't mine to keep. It was a word for you. You, the one who's been waiting. The one who's been wondering, does God still speak? He does, and He just did. Everything He said about my future, the preparation, the identity, the timing, it applies to your journey too, because God is not just giving revelation. He's issuing a divine invitation. He wants to speak to you. He wants to show you who you really are. He wants to break off the lies, heal the old wounds, and awaken the assignment inside of you. Beloved, this isn't about a dream. It's about destiny. Yours. I'm just a voice, a vessel. But you're the reason He told me to share this. This is your wake-up call. This is your sign. Jesus is calling you to listen again, to believe again, to prepare again. He's not finished with you. He's not forgotten you. And if He met me in the middle of the night to speak into my tomorrow, then surely He is ready to meet you right here, right now. All He needs is a willing heart. Are you listening? Are you ready to respond? Then lift your eyes. Lay down the fear and step forward. Because the same Jesus who gave me this dream is calling you into your future today. My dear brother, my precious sister, you didn't just watch a video, you walked through a divine encounter. You didn't just hear a story, you heard a word that was meant to find you. And now, standing at the end of this message, you may feel what I felt the moment I woke from that dream, the sense that something inside you has shifted. Something unseen but undeniable. You can't unhear what Jesus said. You can't unfeel what just awakened in your spirit, and maybe right now, you're quiet. Processing, that's okay. Let your soul take it in. But don't walk away without responding. Even a whisper counts, even a sentence matters. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply to say, Lord, I receive, or speak to me too, or maybe, this word was for me. You can write that below. Not for attention, but for alignment, because when you speak it, you seal it. And if this message stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone whose heart is weary. Someone who's been questioning their future. Someone who, like you, is ready to believe again. Subscribe if you haven't yet, not out of routine, but to stay connected with what the Spirit is revealing. This isn't entertainment, beloved, it's preparation. And I believe this is only the beginning. What Jesus said in that dream wasn't just for one night, it was for this season. For this generation, for you, so go now. Walk in the light of that word, because your future is not lost. It's unfolding right under His voice.